Yep. I'm gonna give y'all about 30 minutes of this before I get back to what I was doing already. I need this clip because I need some content for the main page, so that's mainly what I'm here to do. I might let a couple of people up here to argue with me because people love arguing about this, so I'm gonna hang out here and I'll start just laying out my position here. So I feel like reparations is like a very easy thing, very how do I say this? Let's think about what happened, right? We have hundreds of years of chattel slavery where people were owned like property, like they weren't even considered human beings. For hundreds of years, passed down from generation to generation, and the people were doing whatever the fuck they wanted to do to us. And a lot of most of the wealth that was built up in this nation that made it a superpower to begin with was off of the backs of the free labor done by these individuals. So many people have gotten rich and built industries off of the slave labor. I think they should Native Americans. Yeah, them too. But yeah, so there's so much that's been built. I think they should Native Americans did. Okay, that's what you were saying. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Like, that's the other part of it, but I'll get into it if nobody else jumps in here before I finish. So much industry has been built off of the backs of the free labor of these individuals who are not allowed to learn how to read. They were not allowed to learn how to, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of come together, to work together, to build something on their own. They weren't able to build a business. They weren't able to talk to other black people that weren't from the plantation they were in. They weren't treated like human beings, so they didn't get the chance to build up wealth or build up intellectual capital like every other normal human being would. And all the while, the resources that they were creating for the country, the wealth that was being built up in the country, like the infrastructure that was being built up in the country for free, all the spoils of that went to other people. And then once all of that was over legally, right? Impossible to define legally. Well, good thing I'm not trying to define it legally. Like, I don't care to do that. Stop being so pathetic. I don't know what you're referring to. But yeah, all these things happen, and then they said, you know what, you're free now, whatever, fucking, I don't care, you figure it out. Like, there's no severance package, there's no, hey, we'll do this for you. Like, there were supposed to be 40 acres and a mule, and that ended up not happening. You don't deserve it. I asked you to tell me why. BK is hiring. Yeah. But yeah, there's no therapy offered to people. They don't say, hey man, y'all been going through this. Let me see, colleges used to be free before. I think it was the Civil Rights Act. I'd have to look that up too. I'm not sure about that. I'm pretty sure America wrote a pretty big check for slavery. The slaves didn't get it, so who fucking cares? Wendy's, I don't know what you're trying to say there. But yeah, all these things happened to these people. They were barely seen as human beings after the hundreds of years of slavery. And then what came to proceed after that was another 100 years of legal second-class citizenship. You have to remember, all of this was facilitated by the United States government. None of this happens without the say-so of the United States government. Like, these things were not considered illegal here. All of this was facilitated by the United States. So We have another 100 years of sharecropping, which is basically slavery by another name, and redlining and black codes and Jim Crow. I guess your great ancestors shouldn't have sold them. I don't know what point you're making there. Nobody owes you anything. Everybody's saying talking points, and nobody is giving me explanations. But yeah, they for what free. I don't even know what you're trying to say. But yeah, so these people, y'all gotta stop interrupting me with bullshit, okay? What about the hundreds of thousands of white people that died in the Civil War to free states? What about them? Let's see. Harold. I don't know if I want to talk to anybody just yet because I'm almost done with my spiel. But yeah, so all these years of slavery, and then right after slavery ends, we get sharecropping, which is basically slavery by another name. And then we get redlining and black codes and Jim Crow, where we were legal second-class citizens. We weren't able to access the same facilities that the white people were able to access legally. Like the government enforced these separations. We were being mistreated by the average citizen, and all the average citizen had to say was, oh, well, he looked at me wrong. And they'll say, well, you guess you shouldn't have looked at him. You committed a crime. That went on for another 100 years, and then finally the Civil Rights Act passed in 1965. Let me say, you really have no argument for your request for reparations. Based on what? What about all the Asians that were slaves longer than black people in America? That's a damn lie. Did this happen to you? It doesn't have to. Irish had the same treatment? No, they didn't. Give them all Preparation H. I don't know what that is. Can't even address any of the legitimate questions I posed. I answered everything you said. Are they also seeking reparations from the African Americans that owned them? Maybe they should. Because it's stealing from taxpayers. You're punishing people for crimes they never committed. Well, it's less of punishing you and more of repairing the situation that the United States government put us in. I'm okay with you going after the people who had relatives that had slaves, say like the Colgate Company. We can start there. Why are you owned anything? I don't know why I'm owned anything, John B. Because we are the only race that pays taxes but are not created equal. That was my head hurts trying to process what I think you're trying to say and like how wrong it is so I'm trying to process what I see you had written here, how that's wrong, versus what I think you're trying to say and how that's wrong. And both of them are destroying my brain, bro. Holy shit. You're truly living up to your name of Cletus. Jesus fucking Christ. Nothing was done to you. It doesn't have to. Because none of you lived that life 1 second of that era. We don't have to. Because the perpetrators no longer exist, nor do the victims. The families of the perpetrators who are still benefiting off of that does. The country that was built off of that system still does. And the children of those victims still do. Not as much as far as brains. What? I don't understand. I don't get it. Anyway, you literally are reading our questions without an actual debate. I'm answering everything you guys are saying, so I don't know what else to tell you. You've already received reparations, actually. 13% of the population, over 25% of welfare. Welfare is not reparations. Reparations is for how black Americans were treated in this country. Welfare is not just for black people. Sorry, most of the people on welfare are not black people. DEI wasn't for black people either. Sorry. I don't know. How about an apology and some land? We can start there. That's cool with me. Black entertainment television. Black people don't even own that shit. What reparations do you want? We'll get to that part once we get the reparations passed first. Because we live in 2025, every race has been enslaved at some point in time. Well, maybe all those other races need to open their mouth and not just take it. Why shouldn't I get reparations for having to worry about myself in a black neighborhood? We don't have to pay you because you feel scared of black people. That's not our problem. They shouldn't give reparations because that was 100 years ago. The Civil Rights Act was not passed 100 years ago, buddy. My grandma, who's still alive now, was around when the Civil Rights Act was passed. Because you're not all victims. That's debatable. Also, you're willfully ignorant as to what DEI is and who it helps. I think you are, actually. 500 try. I don't know what that means. People can't afford groceries or diapers. Why do they owe you money? You can't be serious. Are these supposed to be arguments? 500 trillion what? Stop acting like a victim when you're... Hold up, y'all are going too fast. Oh, wait, I just realized there's 30 people in here. Holy shit. I'm trying to read all the fucking comments. I can't keep up because there's more people in here. I got my work boots on already, don't worry. Putting a dollar amount on 400 years of oppression doesn't seem right to me. Yeah, so that means give $0. That makes perfect sense. Ask original sellers of humans. Great way to get paid. I don't know what that means. Victims and more victims. I don't know what that's supposed to mean either. Reparations are paid in full. By who? Because I ain't got my check. They must have forgot about me and my peoples. I want to know what the reparations are. I want to know what the reparations are for. Who are they for? You were never a slave. It's for the descendants of slaves. Very easy. The receipts are in the Gettysburg National Cemetery. You know the money comes from people, right? People who don't owe you anything. Okay, so some people have a plan for reparations to be extracted mainly from a lot of the companies that were the biggest, the ones who profited the most off of the back of slave labor, who made the most, or if not by direct slave labor, then making money off of the slaves, period, like insuring them or using them as collateral and loans, like that type of thing. There was a cottage industry of that happening back in those days too, and those companies still exist. And there's some plans to get reparations mainly from them instead of like a flat tax for all people. But before we get to exactly who's paying and where is that, how it's going to be dispersed and where is it coming from, we have to agree that there has to be some type of restitution for the descendants of slaves who worked for hundreds of years for free. Like, we can't say, oh, that was the past, let's just act like that didn't happen. Something has to come from that. Let's see. Reparations, okay, just go across the ocean to get it. Those nations, when y'all say that black people sold their own people, first of all, they weren't their own people. Africa is made up of 54 different countries with hundreds and thousands of ethnicities and languages. They were not all one people. They were selling people that were different from them. That wasn't their people. They were prisoners of war most of the time. And secondly, a lot of those nations that they bought those slaves from don't even exist anymore. There is nobody for me to go back to talk to that sold me. So we have the buck gets passed to the next person that's still here, which is the United States government. Sorry, there were no nation states in Africa back then. Well, I guess we can that depends on how you look at what nation state is and what they had going on back then. That's debatable. Do black people without slave ancestors also pay reparations? No, it's for descendants of American slavery. So, like, we're not going to pay African who came here 30 years ago reparations. Sorry, you didn't go through the race-based marginalization like the Africans in America did, or the African Americans did, I should say. Because none of you are descendants of slaves and you have had over 100 years to get it together. That literally, none of that sentence made any sense. You already get reparations. I already explained how welfare is not reparations. Sorry. We're not even taking up most of the welfare, but we ain't got to get into that. Cry some more. I'm just reading your comments. I'm sorry. I think we should become purple like all of us. Maybe. But then people will just argue over the lighter shades of purple versus the darker shades of purple. It always turns into some bullshit eventually with human beings. For whatever reason, we just like fighting each other. Maybe get a job. It's Tuesday. Oh, Lord. Africa's still there, which is black people's ancestral land. Africa is a continent, dude. Africa has like 50 different countries in it with hundreds of different ethnicities, thousands of different cultures. Africa is not all just one place. We're not all one big nigga. I'm sorry. It's way more complicated than that. You can't just go to Africa. There's a lot of Africa to go to. I'll give you a pair of work. Y'all are not original. You people do anything not to work. Yeah, you people are fucking NPCs. You still aren't getting reparations. Well, that's interesting because all the other people before you kept saying we are getting reparations already. So which one is it? There's 250 language dialects in Nigeria alone. Exactly, bro. Like there's so many different types of people in Africa. Africa is not all one thing. There's so many different nations and cultures and ethnicities. They were not all one person. Just having brown skin doesn't make you all the same people. I'm sorry. I know y'all think all niggas look alike, but in Africa it's not like that. 60 years of welfare is enough reparations. Don't that mean the white woman has been getting reparations too? If we're using that as the barometer here. I'm surprised. There's a lot of people in the thing, but nobody wants to. You know what? I'm okay with talking to people now. Anybody want to come up here and talk to me so I can stop trying to keep up? There's so many comments. Y'all are commenting like crazy. Somebody join up here so you could tell me verbally why reparations is bad and why we shouldn't get reparations. I got like another 15 minutes before I get out of here. Because they weren't the only salves. I got you, bro. You know what? You're right. We weren't the only salves. You aren't. That which one it is. Only free money you get is food stamps. Okay, dude. Like, I need y'all to go to like 4th grade language arts and get y'all sentence structure together. Salves is the best. What about Mexicans? Do we get reparations? That's your own problem. Y'all got to figure out if y'all are supposed to get reparations or not. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You skipping my comment. Bro, it's too many comments. I'm trying to read all of them. Put me in a pain lay. You know what? Go ahead and request. You could get in my pan lay. You need to get your 5th grade historical education. Okay, dude. Get with it. Get with what? Jefferson Davis was a Democrat who I don't care. Reparations is a Democratic term used to get the black community to vote for Democrats. You people, oh my God, you're NPCs. I am not a Democrat, number one. And this has nothing to do with the Democrats and the Republicans. If you want to make it the Democrats and the Republicans, you know, you're barking up the wrong tree here. I'm not going to argue with you about who's better, the Democrats or the Republicans. Did you know that the Irish people were the first slaves? You mean like, what you call it? Indentured servants? I have no request box. Oh, damn, y'all are right. Y'all are right. Hold up. Y'all are right. Y'all are right. Let me fix this. There we go. There we go. Hold up, and let me change it. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, my man. What you got for me?
Why do black people deserve reparations and white people don't?
Well, before I answer your question, I need you to answer mine. Like, tell me
Yeah.
why we shouldn't. Tell me why you shouldn't get reparations.
Why I shouldn't or why you shouldn't?
Why black people shouldn't get reparations?
Well, because, I mean, this happened
It happened
What?
so long ago.
How many centuries ago?
It happened. So it's not. First of all, it's not just for slavery. You do realize that, right?
Okay, well, I mean, you know, okay, you talk about slavery. White people get treated the same way every day in this world. We work, we pay our taxes, and we do everything we can do to provide
Uh,
for assistance for people who needs assistance. I mean, I know I
Hold
go
up,
to work,
slow
pay
down,
my
slow down,
taxes.
slow down, because you're about to go all over the world. So I asked a very specific question, and you're going all over the world. I need you to tell me why black people shouldn't get reparations.
I see no reason why they should. I
Okay.
I don't. I mean, you'd have to explain to me. Maybe that I could agree with you on a point, but I don't see
Look,
no reason why you
before,
should.
because look, listen, Cody, this is not a sales pitch. I'm not here to convince people that we should get reparation.
I'm not
I'm
asking you
trying to
to.
hear. I'm trying to hear the reasons why you're against it. I want to know what is your principled issue with repaying black people for the marginalization they went through in this country. I want to hear the reasons for that.
I mean, there's no reason to get any kind of reparations. I mean, there's. I mean,
Do you want me to give you? Okay, let me give you a couple of reasons why
Would
I
I
think
say?
we should get
Would I say
reparations.
this? I'll give you a reason. Would I say this? Would your grandparents, great grandparents deserve it? Yes. You know.
Okay, so let me give you a couple of
That's what
reasons
I
why.
tell you.
Cody. So let me give you a couple of reasons why I think we should. Okay, I'll start. We'll start there. Maybe that'll
There
make it
you go.
easier for you.
That's what I asked
So
for.
I think that number one, can you agree with me? And this is a yes or no question. Can you agree with me that history has consequences?
Always.
Okay, so things that happen in the past affects your children in the future, right? You can agree with that.
It can. Yes.
It can, when has it not?
What do you mean? One has it not exactly answer what you're saying.
When has you said it can, as if there's some situations where it
Between
doesn't. So
black or white, or how are you saying
I'm not
that?
talking about between black, just in general. Like, in what universe does the past that what universe that what you do in your time not affect what happens to your children in their time? When has that never happened?
Well, sir, I don't exactly understand what when you're saying that. You're
Oh,
giving me
okay. Let me
an
pause. Let me pause.
ultimatum that I can't understand.
Let me back it up, okay? Because I asked you
Yep.
if history has consequences,
And I said,
and
yes,
instead of no, you didn't say yes. You said it can.
it can.
So it can is different from yes. It can means like sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Right. So it does. It does sometimes. Sometimes it don't. But go ahead.
Okay, and now I'm asking you, in what cases does it not? When is it doesn't happen? When does it not happen?
You always got cause and effect.
Well, I mean, cause and effect will always happen, but I
Okay,
don't.
okay. We can stop there. We can stop there. So if cause and effect always happens, then it's not it can. It does. The answer is yes. History has consequences all the time. It's not sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Well,
So
no, don't.
I'm
Not hit.
saying
Not. Let me
go
ask you
ahead.
something. Okay, when you say about history, have you ever done something wrong in your life that you want to go back and say, "Well, I could do this differently," or do you just
Yes.
say, "I learned from my mistakes as a child. I'm grown up now."
Uh well, yeah, we all have some regrets in life, but where are you going with
But
that?
that's what I'm saying. But that's history, and tomorrow's a mystery, right? Like I'm not going to beat myself up for what I did 10 years ago because I did this stupidly, and then today I'm a changed person. I'm like, well, no, I'm changed. I don't do that no more. That's not me.
Well, I
So
agree with you, Cody, but the problem is you're talking about an individual person regretting their personal choices in life versus
still history,
a
still
legalized,
history.
right. But we're talking about a legalized system that completely that treated human beings as property, like they were passing people down like they were things to their children, and they did that for hundreds of years, right?
Well, no one.
And then after that, because that's not all. Then after that, after they said, you know what, let's stop doing that, they started sharecropping, which is basically the same thing, but without the owning part. And then they started the redlining, and then they started the black codes, where they basically made it illegal to do anything as a black person. It was illegal to stand around too much. That's loitering laws. It was illegal to be on a certain side of town at a certain time. Like they made it illegal to be black for a little while. And then they came out with the Jim Crow laws, where black people had to live over here, white people couldn't come over here, like everybody was separated. They did basically legally making black people second class citizens for another 100 years after slavery.
Well, yeah, you're right. They couldn't go to the same schools. They couldn't do a lot of things.
Right. And do you think that after the Civil Rights Act passed that ended the legal segregation, that just instantly went away and it just disappeared and we were just completely equal then?
Well, no, I mean, everybody's completely equal in my opinion.
No, I know in our hearts and spirits we're equal, but I'm saying in practically, like materially, we're coming from the lineage of people who weren't able to learn to read until 400 years later. Like, how were we on the same playing field, like materially?
I don't reckon nobody was on the same playing field. No.
Yeah, but I mean, if you take the average white person in the 60s and the average black person from the 60s before the Civil Rights Act was passed, and
Yes.
then the Civil Rights Act passes, does that make them like both on the same level now?
Should have been. Yeah.
Well,
Well, I should.
I'm not talking about legally. I'm not talking about legally. I'm talking about materially. Because remember, the black people, they come from the legacy of slavery, where they weren't able to build businesses. They weren't able to learn to read. They weren't able to do the basic things you need to do to build yourself up in a country like this. They were just working for free. And then after that, they were legally separated from the white people in the facilities that they had. So we had schools, but they were the shitty schools. We had restaurants, but they were the shitty restaurants.
Okay.
Do you,
When you say that, okay, poor white folk had the same damn option. What middle class had different. Poor white folk had shitty schools, shitty restaurants. It was the same damn. So when you
Cody,
do
stop.
that,
Hold up. But the problem is, and I appreciate, because I think you're actually good faith, so that's why I'm not going to while on you. But I think the difference is the reason why we were in the place we were in was because of racism. Like the poorer white people be having those issues is because
I'm
they
not
just made
saying at
bad
all. I'm not saying
decisions.
you're right. You're right. In the 60s and 70s, the black and white was judged completely different.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So
But then
because
when
of
it
all
comes to
those
the 80s and the
race-based
90s, things started changing.
right, but because of all those race-based situations that happened back then between black people and white people, there needs to be some type of restitution for that, right? Or do we just act like that didn't happen and just let it go, and like we just say, oh, they was whooping our ass and hanging us and all this stuff, but that's in the past. We'll just act like that didn't happen. That's
Okay,
what we're
well, you
supposed to do.
just said something that matters. Us, you wasn't us.
I'm talking about that was my family, bro. That was my people. Like I'm not supposed to give a fuck because it wasn't me personally.
Okay, my people was the poor people. We didn't do that shit.
Okay, respectfully, Cody, I'm gonna end my time with you because I don't think you're following the conversation very well anyway. Let me see who I can talk to next. You know what? I'm gonna let Keon in and see what he gotta say. I'm doing this one by one, y'all. Oh Lord. Keon, it's taking you a little while to jump in. I think your connection might be fucked up. So I'm gonna give you like another 5 seconds to get your connection right. All right, your connection ain't right, so I gotta drop you. Sorry, brother. All right, let's see who else is ready. Let's see what Cobra gotta say. Do. All right, what's up, Cobra? Cobra, you there? Cobra going once. Cobra going twice. Sorry. You took too long. This is I'm uploading this somewhere else later, so I can't have the dead air. So y'all need to be ready when I let you in. I'm gonna let DB in. All right.
Hi.
DB. What you got for me, DB?
Concerning reparations, I am a third generation German American. My great great grandparents came straight over from Germany, emigrated
Mm-hmm.
to the United States, made a life here. We never owned slaves. We were never part of slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel that me, at just by due fact that I'm an American citizen or I'm a white person or whatnot, I don't feel like I should be penalized and having to pay reparations in something that I never participated in.
Okay, so here's a couple of things. DB, do you think reparations is like we take your wallet and take, like, you're a white person, so we have to take your wallet and take all of your money out of it for reparations?
No,
Is that what you
no,
think it is?
no, I don't. But the money's
Okay,
going to have to feasibly come from somewhere. So my
taxes, right?
counter, my counter question you would then be, where would you like to see the money come from?
Yeah, so it would be taxed, right? And here's the thing. Everybody has, oh, hold up. Never mind. I fucked up. I'm not doing this, okay? I'm not going to defend, how do I say? I'm not going to give a business plan on how we're going to do the, what you call it? The collection of the funds for
I'm not
reparations.
opposed to reparations. I'm not saying that certain
Oh, you're
families.
not opposed to it? Then you shouldn't be up here anyway. I'm not. Look, guys, this is not a sales pitch. And Zach, I know it's taxes. I know how it's some people, they have different plans on how they're going to collect the money for reparations. If you don't disagree with reparations principally, then I'm not going to talk to you. I want to talk to people who disagree with reparations principally. I'm what you call it? I'm curious about that because I'm not here to sell. I'm not here to do a sales pitch. I'm not going to say, well, actually, I've crunched the numbers, and if we pay out reparations, it's going to do, like, I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to lay out how we're going to pay for it. I'm not here to lay out all the details and the logistics of where it's going to come from. That's not my job. I'm not here to do that. There's other people who have done that. I want to talk to people about their principles. I want to hear what principally, because if you disagree with it because you just can't think of a good way for it to be done, then you don't actually disagree with reparations. You just haven't heard a good enough plan yet. I'm not here to give the plan. There's other people who have plans that you can ask for. But if it's not the plan and it doesn't matter what the plan is, you don't want reparations, period. That's who I want to talk to. That's what I'm curious about. I'm not here to sell reparations to you, to tell you why it's a good idea and how we can do it in a way that's acceptable to you. I'm not here to do that. So I don't give a fuck about if you were German and you weren't here during slavery, so you shouldn't have to pay for it. That's not my concern. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not here to talk about how we're punishing the whites who got here 30 years ago. I don't care. But let's see, who else is here? I'm gonna let Papo go. Sorry, Zach, but you were last, so I'm gonna invite you last. Oh, never mind. Let me see what Damien said. Oh, Papo's here. Never mind. Papo, you're taking a little too long to come in. Papo going once. Papo going twice. All right, we got to get Papo out of here. All right, who's last? All right, Zach, it's your chance. It's your moment. Lordy Lord. What's up, Zach?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. What you got for me?
Well, I think black people are already getting reparations
Through
in various
welfare and
forms.
food stamps.
Yeah,
That's what you think
yeah.
reparations is. So
Well, they are
that's
getting.
cool. That's cool if you think that's what reparations is. But
But
I
what's your
asked a specific
definition?
question. So I asked a specific question. I asked, why shouldn't we get reparations?
Because it wasn't your work, it was your ancestors' work.
All right, so the problem here, like, okay, so you ever heard of, you know what inheritance is? Like, you typically, other people have worked for something and then they pass it down to their children,
Yeah, not a
right?
lot of wealth gets transferred that way when you look at it.
No, I know, but when people get inheritance, it's usually another person's work that they pass to their children, right?
That is inheritance, typically.
Oh, there you go. So our grandparents, they did work. They worked for free. They were treated like
Not
property.
your
They weren't even
grandparents.
human beings. What you mean, not my grandparents?
They couldn't be old enough.
Well,
When
yeah,
were your
not my
grandparents born?
grandparents. Like my great great grandparents. Like
Great,
they're still
great,
my
great, great
grandparents.
grandparents.
Oh, it's not
Okay.
that many greats, bro. It wasn't that many greats. It was
I
slavery
mean,
was not 400 years
1865? That's a
ago.
long time ago.
Yeah, it's less than 200 years ago. That's like 2 or 3 generations separated.
2 or 3 in that many years? I mean, every like 20 to 30 years is a generation, right?
I mean, you could look at it that way. I
Well,
mean,
I mean,
I'm
that's
looking
how
at
it
it
is
through life.
usually. I
I'm looking
mean,
at
most
it like
people have
through
kids within between
lifetimes,
20
right?
and 30.
Okay, you can hear my mic, right? So
Yeah.
you are you like purposely talking over me, or you can't hear what I'm saying anything?
Well, I heard you saying, and I'm responding to it.
Okay, this is how we're gonna do this. Like I usually don't like lording over people like a dictator, but I can't do the thing where we're both talking at the same time. So like if you hear my mic, please don't keep talking when you know you can hear my mic, please. So
Okay.
like if I did lost my train of thought. We were talking about the generations, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, that's tangential. It doesn't matter. They're still my grandparents. So they worked for free for hundreds of years. And, you know, after the slavery ended, there was no kind of restitution. What actually ended up happening after the slavery ended was more subjugation, just done by another name, which is sharecropping. We had another 100 years of Jim Crow and black codes after that. So, like, we didn't
I'm aware.
become legally equal until 1965 after the Civil Rights Act was passed, and you know, even some shady shit was going on after that. So, like, we can't, let's not talk about this shit like it was ancient history, because it was not. And we I think we can agree that history has consequences, right, Zach?
Yeah, there's a lot of history to discuss.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is, like, when a new generation comes, everything doesn't reset and start over. You're a blank slate. Like, you, you, there's
Well, that's where I
consequences to
disagree
what
with you.
happens. Okay, how? In what sense does everything reset when you're born in a family that's, you know, been marginalized for generations? Like, how does that happen?
You have opportunity to grow yourself. You have opportunity
That that
now.
so
You see,
does
I
that
didn't have much
erase? Does
opportunity. My
that does
parents were
that
both
erase?
teachers.
Zach, does
Look,
that
if you're not going to let
erase?
me talk,
Zach,
why am I up here?
okay. Yeah,
You can
that's
just
a good
kick me out.
question. Maybe we could get you the fuck out of here. That was the best thing you said this whole time. All right, Papo, I'm gonna give you another chance. I don't know if you know, but this is my shit. Okay? And I try not to do it like that, but you know, you're not gonna big bro me. This is my shit, okay? This is my show. So you're answering my questions. I don't have to listen to you. Dang, Papo, you didn't want to come in no more? You was talking about you was making chili? That's fine. Let me see what the U.S. Marine vet says. I feel like I'm gonna have fun with this one. You got to say you work for everything I got. You just get a job. Fucking God. Okay, what's up, Marine vet? What you got for me?
How you doing?
I'm
Hey,
good, man.
just real quick. I just joined like 2-3 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
But you did ask a question about inheritance
Mm-hmm.
with the other guy. And I did a quick search on it, while I was waiting. And according to the Federal Reserve Survey from 2019, it's the last one that's available that I can find. The median inheritance for a white family was 88,500, compared to 85,800 for black families, and then 52,200 for Hispanic. So
So
that
so
comparative,
wait. So what does that have to do with what I was saying about inheritance? What point are you making with that?
well, the point I'm making is that you claimed that white people would inherit more
No, I
potentially
didn't.
because of their history, and
That
black
is not what I
families
said
would
at
not.
all, dude. You're making
Yeah, it
shit up.
is.
That is not what I said. The reason I brought up inheritance is because the guy said that we shouldn't get reparations because it's not our work, and I was telling him that usually in when people inherit things from their parents, it's somebody else's work, and the money and the stuff that they got from the work they did get passed down to their children. That's why I brought up inheritance. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I'm dispelling your theory that white people will get more in inheritance
That's not
than
my
black
theory. I
people.
didn't say that.
You just said it.
Okay, Marine vet, respectfully,
You're trying to
do you
work
have a
around saying it
U.S.
specifically.
vet? U.S. vet. I have a bad memory, but I remember that shit. I remember what I said. Like, okay, tell me what I was responding to when I said that white people inherit more money. Tell me what I was responding to with that.
I don't know because I just
You
joined
don't
when you
know
were
because you
speaking of
made the
that.
shit up, man. You made the
No,
shit
I
up. I
didn't make the
didn't
shit
say
up.
that.
You're
Okay,
making
never
shit up
mind.
that you need.
I'm done with this guy. I don't. I have this recorded, by the way. I can play the video back, and I'm gonna play the video back, and it's gonna be me responding to the dude saying we shouldn't get reparations because it's not our work, and me saying, well, you know how inheritance works? Inheritance is when you get shit from somebody else's work, your parents' work. I didn't say nothing about white people inheriting more than black people. Like he thought he really ate while Googling the shit on, said, who inherits more? That's probably fake, by the way, too. Like his statistic, I gotta have to take his word for that. But because I was losing. Losing what? Anyway, the point was inheritance. When our great grandparents worked for free for hundreds of years, and because of that, we were subjugated and marginalized in this country up till technically 1965, and there was no restitution for that. So the restitution can't go to the people it happened to because they're not here anymore. It has to go to their children. That's what inheritance is. You inherit the benefits of what your parents and your grandparents did. That's what that is. So this point of it didn't happen to you, it doesn't have to. And this point that he's making about black people inheriting more than white people, I don't even know how to respond to that because I never made that point. I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. But anyway, let's see who else we got here. I'm gonna talk to one more person, and then I'm gonna go because I think I got enough good juicy content here. If let's see, Noah Williams, 840. What's up, Noah?
That's me. How you doing, young fella?
I'm good, broski. What you got for me?
Well, first of all, there's two things, but I like this live because you said you don't like people being talked over, so I won't ever talk over you.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I have for you is this. First of all, I don't think reparations is what the people of the diaspora, of the remnant of the children of the family of those slaves, those enslaved people. First of all, I don't agree with reparations.
Mm.
All right. Now, would you like to hear the other part of that?
Go ahead. I'm listening.
I believe that there are damages owed, and I believe reparations is sort of like asking somebody to do the right thing, but paying for damages is like saying you damn well better do the right thing. That's the difference. Now, with that said, I live on acreage out here, so I got grandyoungins and I got great grands, and I'm going to leave them this, and that's what you I think that you were talking about when you're talking about inheritance, because
Correct.
I intend for my grands and my great grands, not my children, my grands and my great grands to have this. And I'm if I don't know if you've seen it or not, but see, I was born raised in the 50s, and my daddy told me when we was working on our house that we was building, and my little brother was born, and he was about 3 years old, and he said, "Boys, me and my brother, other older brother, had to help build that house." And he said he kept saying it. Yeah, so this my baby boy have a place when I'm dead and gone, when I'm unalived and gone. And I was thinking, I'm working on this house like hell, Dad. I'm toting blocks and bricks, and you talking about that little milk drinker back there gonna have it. And then I
Right.
found this, and then I found this out. There is a scripture in the Bible that says a father's inheritance is his own, and he can do what he wants with it. And
Right.
when I read that, I said it right then. And I said to my sister and my brother, I said, well, if Daddy said he gonna have it, he gonna have it. So we know we got to find somewhere to live when we get grown, because he's not leaving us anything. He's leaving it to that little milk sucker back there. And I'm glad he did. I mean, that's just fact. So
Right.
yeah, yes, there is something, but it's not reparations. It's you stole it, and you're gonna have to pay for it. That's what it is. And the way to
I
get
like
that is,
that.
that's it. I'm telling you now, I didn't get what I got right now by going around begging folks that didn't want me to have nothing.
Right.
I went, as a matter of fact, they trying to take it from me now, but they can't because I'm locked in. And they trying to. The police come out and told me that I had to stop pumping water off my land onto my own land. And I said, you must be out of your mind. And so they went on. But anyway, like I said, that's my point about reparation. We don't need reparation. We need damages. Because I know what the damages was. See, I was raised during the Jim Crow era. So I know what damages. I know what damages need to be paid. See?
Yeah.
And
Tell
for
them,
you
schools.
talking
Tell
about,
them. Tell them what happened during that time, school. They don't get it.
well, I'll tell you exactly what happened. Now, let me tell you a story about two soldiers. Those two soldiers were for the Bear Pig. They call it a Bear Pig invasion. They were practicing for the Bear Pig for the landing in Port St. Joe, Florida, Gulf County. So they was practicing to make that landing. Well, two black soldiers went into a service station right there in Gulf County, and they bought what they gas and bought what they want, and then they left. Later on, a YT man come along and unalive both of the YT service station members, the people who run the service station. Well, the police beat the two black soldiers and then beat another woman up, a lady that was one of the round the way ladies in the ladies of the night. I'll call her that. But anyway, they beat her and made her testify that those two men had did that. Now, and before anybody say anything, you can Google it. It's called Pitts and Lee, Gulf County, Port St. Joe, Gulf County, Florida. And if you want to read about it, it's a wonderful thing that is documented. So yeah, that's one thing that happened. And they got paid for it, but they spent 12 years on death row before they could get out, knowing those people knowing that they didn't do it. Now, I've seen 4 strange fruits. I've seen the actual 4 times of strange fruiting, but I've also seen an uncle that didn't allow it. So that's all I can say about that right now. So, but anyway, yes, I've seen 4 strange fruiting in Florida.
Damn.
So, but these things, and as a matter of fact, in Hartford, Alabama, you can look this up. I think it's Geneva County, where a family burned down the courthouse to keep them from having the records of the black people that own the property. This is after slavery. This is way after slavery. They burned down the wood courthouse to keep them from having the records of the black sharecroppers who had actually ended up buying farmland. And they now all this stuff is stuff you can look up in your history book, but they're not going to teach it. They're not going to tell you this in school now.
Right.
But there are so many. Miss Emma, my aunt Emma, was 109 years old when she died in 66. And as a little boy, I used to sit around and listen to her talk. And the things she was telling me, most of it was I laughed at it as a child. But when I got grown and some of the things, I went to the places where she told me these things happen. And right now you can go to a place called East Stephenogga, Florida. And it's called a place down there that was called Negro Fort. And on Highway 12, County Road 12, in Calhoun County, Liberty County, Florida, if you go down East Stephenogga, and you'll find an old graveyard there. And so all these things are it's just so much that was done. And a lot of it is not known, but it can be found, because one thing that's sure, during the slavery time, they kept records of the slaves that they had. So therefore, it made it valuable for them to tell that, because that was their form of currency. Because you could take that to the bank. You could say, I got 15 Negro and I need to borrow $500, and the banker would jump on it and hope your crop didn't come in. You see? So that's just the way it was. I'm talking too much, so
Nah, you good, bro. And I'm gonna let you go because you have been yapping a little bit. But I appreciate your story, and I think that it's important that people hear from people who lived in that time, because they think about this shit like it's ancient history, like it happened thousands of years ago. There's people who are alive today who were there while this shit was still happening. This is not ancient history. So, I appreciate you sharing your part of that school. And I let him go for as long as he did. I try to let old school give us that information, because those stories that he told is probably something that wasn't really reported that much. When black people do things, they consider it like a negative criminal thing, and they write about that. They don't write about the stuff that happened to black folks like that. And he's talking about shit that happened after slavery. We're not even talking about slavery right now. We're talking about in the 1960s. This was less than 100 years ago. My grandparents, he's still here. My grandparents are still here. They can tell you different stories than he told. He told his stories from Florida. My grandparents could tell you the stories that happened in Louisiana and St. Louis. This is not ancient history. And all of this was race-based. This is not just a force of nature. This is not just a thing that happens and that it happened a long time ago, so we just get over it and act like it didn't happen. No, we don't. And we're not going to stop talking about it. And we're not going to stop fighting for reparations. I know old school said he said, don't call it reparations, because that sounds like you're begging. And I get it. But I have to say reparations just so we all know what we're talking about, because there has to be some type of restitution for that shit. There's no way you can enslave a population for hundreds of years and right off the heels of that, another hundreds of years as second-class citizens. And then after that, just say, okay, we're equal now. Shut the fuck up about it. Get over it. No, don't get over it. Nothing has actually been done to rectify the situation. So no, I need you to tell me how giving restitution for these atrocities happening to our citizens based on race, how is that not deserved? How is it not deserved to pay the children of the people you've treated that way for so long? Because the reason why we live in the way that we live now is a direct response to what was happening to us in the past. There's no cutoff. The chain never broke. We didn't start over when we started a new generation. We're living in the legacy of all the marginalization that we went through through these generations, through all these years. It never stopped. The people who were racist before the Civil Rights Act in 65 was passed were still racist after that. They just couldn't do it out loud legally. They found new, more creative, more covert ways to express their racism. This shit never ended, so that because we never was reinstated, we were never repaired. The root word in reparations is repair. You have to fix the shit that you did to us. And until that happens, we're going to keep beating the drum on this. And you can't tell me I'm wrong, because the shit happened. But I think I'm going to end this here soon. A lot of people just kind of came here to bitch instead of actually giving concrete reasons why they disagree with it. You know, again, I'm not here to pitch to you why reparations is a good thing. I'm not going to break down the logistics of who is it coming from, who's going to pay it, how is it going to be paid, is it going to be in land, is it going to be in going to school for free? You know, I'm not here to break down all the logistics and the details and all that. There's people who've been doing this for way longer than me and way more intelligent than me, who's been studying this for longer than I have. They've read books on this shit. That's not what I'm here to do. I want to hear out the people who don't care. Let's say we were in this fantasy world where we had the perfect plan that made perfect sense to all these people who are naysayers talking about, I'd agree with it if, you know, we had a good way to do it. Let's say we had the good way to do it. I want to talk to the people who still disagree, because there's something else happening there. It's not about it's not feasible, because we've been doing it already. We have what you call it? What's the word? I feel bad because I'm spitting fire right now. We have an infrastructure for this already. We've been paying reparations to people. We've paid reparations to the Japanese. We're paying reparations to Israel and the Jewish people. We're paying reparations to the Native Americans. We're doing that right now. But when we hear about the Native Americans, nobody says, oh, well, what about my taxes? I came here from Germany in 1976. Why I got to pay for that? My taxes. We don't hear that then. We don't hear when the Japanese people were interned in this country and they got reparations. We don't hear, well, what about our communities? Why we got to pay taxes for that? I didn't put them in the camps. Nobody said that shit. All of a sudden, when it comes to black people, it turns into, oh, well, we got to figure it out. Oh, well, what's your plan? We don't know exactly what it is. Like, no. We know what to do. We've done it multiple times already. We're doing it right now. It's something about repaying back black people that really gets a bug in people's ass. I don't want them to say what that is. I want them to say the real shit. Hold up, somebody else is here. I'm going to let one more person in because I really got to go after this. So I hope you have something important to say, because I got to bounce soon. We was kings. We built everything. Paid for the rent and give me free food. Did I say it like how you imagined it in your brain, you fucking troglodyte? What's up, dieter?
Hey, it's Dieter.
Oh, my bad, man. What you got for me?
Hey, let me tell you about the reparations of that guy. You remember in the 80s when the crack pandemic went crazy? The government was issuing all that to the inner city people, and they were making millions and millions of dollars, and they were doing their thing. And then all of a sudden it all got cracked down and it all stopped. But all of a sudden now they have a problem because now they got no money coming in from the government. But they weren't complaining back in the 80s and the early 90s. But now all of a sudden the Democrats want to shut the government down. It's the Republicans' fault. I don't understand.
Well,
was
respectfully, Dieter, I'm not here for a conversation about the Republicans and the Democrats. Like, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. Like, I don't play that game.
I apologize. I didn't know.
I get you. I get what you're trying to say, but like, this is like an epidemic on here. Like, it's a lot of people. Every conversation has to turn into the fucking Democrats and the Republicans. I hate that shit. Like, it's more complicated. It's way more complicated than that.
And I believe that the reparations shouldn't go to them because they didn't have to deal with the fact of in the 1860s and the 1890s and all that. They didn't go through any of that. They have the same opportunities that we have, but they chose to do other things except for being a productive citizen.
All right, man. Well, you know what? I'm glad you gave us your input. You have a good day, and I hope you enjoy the applesauce they give you at the end of the day. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know what that was. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna end that now. Yeah. Oh, one last thing before I go. All the people keep saying get a job. That's the funniest thing to me when they're like, just get a job. Just go to work. I got work boots for you. You people are NP goddamn C's. You're all saying the same thing. At least come up with your own unique jokes. Y'all not even coming up with your own jokes. Like this, I don't know if y'all know, the most black people are at work. Like the unemployment rate for black Americans, I think I literally just looked this up this morning. Black people in America, the unemployment rate is like 6%, like 5 or 6%. Like the overwhelming majority of black people are working. We have a job already. Everybody has jobs. Like the unemployment rate overall is like 4% for all Americans. Like we're all working. You know, we may not all be doing the best, but that's because the wages have stagnated in this country and everything still costs more. So it's, you know, they're not paying enough for people to live, but they still want you to dedicate 40 years of your week to them. And, you know, that's a whole other thing. We can get into that some other time. But the point is, we already have jobs, man. We're already at work. Okay? That has nothing to do with the debt that's owed to us. That has nothing to do with I could be rich and you still owe me reparations because of what happened to my family. If I'm rich and I loan you $20, do you get to say, well, you don't need it. You got a good job. You're rich. No, you still owe me that $20. You still got to give me my fucking $20. I don't care how much I got. I don't care what kind of job I got. This is not about giving free money. This is not free money. This is a debt that's owed to us for hundreds of years of free labor and another 100 years of second-class citizenship in this country. And, you know, I'm going to end it right there. Hold up. Somebody, Jesus. I'm going to let you in because you got the GI bot picture. So I'm going to see what you got to say. What's up, man?
Honestly, you want to know why I think they don't have it?
Why?
It's because racists are still in charge. They have been.
Hold up. Real quick. Uncle Rask again. What you got for me?
Yo, hey, how's it going?
Oh, first of all, hold up before you go. How old are you, dude?
I'm 19.
Are you sure you're 19?
Yes, I was born November 9th, 2005. I'm 19.
All right, you ain't have to give me the whole thing, but what you got for me?
Oh, I was just gonna say, people think reparations means money, and that's not true. That's not true at all. And when I think about it, I'm like, how stupid do you gotta be to not understand what reparations mean? Because the natives, they got their reparations. They've always had that. It's not just handouts. They don't understand that. Like I've heard that there was cities, like black cities, that were destroyed. And I'm like, that's what reparations should be. We should help rebuild cities, and we should help rebuild all
Yeah,
these
they have like 40
schools.
acres.
And I'm like, that's what I consider reparations, like actually help rebuild what they lost, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, hold up, America. I'm gonna let you go next. But I think that when it comes to reparations, like some people they think it's money, some people they say it's land, some people say it's free school. Like, either way, all we need to be agreeing on is that there's some type of restitution that needs to happen,
Yeah.
whether it be through payment, cash payment, whether it be through land, like whatever it is. There has to be some. We can't just chunk that up in the air and say it was a long time ago. Just act like it didn't happen. Like there has to be something that comes from this. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But go ahead, America first.
Yeah, no matter what the reparations are, there's going to be a cost with it, and that cost is borne by every taxpayer. So essentially, unclear. You're young. You're 19. So my assumption is you haven't even paid a year of taxes yet. So when you do get your taxes and your tax rate on your first job, just imagine how much it would cost on an individual level. Now, whether it's morally correct or not, that's not my argument. My argument comes into play. Say your taxes, you have to pay $5,000 more on your
Wait,
taxes.
hold up, America first. Before you
Yep.
go down this spiel, like we get it. You gotta pay. We have to pay for the reparations. We get it.
Yes, and who
okay,
pays for
so
it?
here,
And who
America
gets it?
first. America
The people
first.
that got paid.
Hold up. Let me do this way. Before we go down this road of finding out the logistics of where is it coming from, who's gonna get paid for it, how are they gonna pay it, what's the company we're gonna use to disperse the funds, like before we get into all of that, we have to agree that reparations is deserved to begin with. We can't move past that part of it. So I'm gonna ask you, America first. Do you think black people deserve at least some kind of restitution for the marginalization that happened to us in this country, based on us being black?
Theoretically, yes. Logically,
Okay, so
no.
you don't disagree with me, so the conversation is over. I'm not here to pitch anything to you. I'm not here to give you a plan on how to do it. I'm not here to tell you this is the correct way to do it. This is how we're gonna collect the money. I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to convince you what the right way is to do reparations. If you agree with me on reparations, period, then there's no further conversation to have on that. I want to talk to the people who disagree with this principally, because I want to know what that principle is. I'm curious about that. All these people who keep saying, well, I don't agree with reparations because it don't make sense because of the math and we got to pay it in taxes. I don't give a fuck about that. There's other people who can answer that for you. You're in the wrong place for that. But like
I've heard some horrific things, and too. I've heard some scary, horrific things. I learned that there was still segregated schools, not even from very long ago, only maybe a few decades, and they were still around. There were still all these horrible things, and like I don't understand. I don't understand how anyone could think that black people don't deserve reparation.
Yeah, I mean they found ways to do it. It's like I said earlier, bro. Even after, like they talk about 1965 as if the Civil Rights Act just completely abolished racism and racism ended then. Like those racists that were enforcing the segregation laws before 1965 still were in power and still existed after 1965. They didn't disintegrate into thin air. They didn't disappear. They were still racist. They still believed in the shit. They just had to find new, creative, more covert ways to do it. So like the segregation you're talking about probably wasn't on paper. They probably were doing it in some other kind of way where it was hard to prove that that's what it was, but that's what it was. That's how a lot of racism is now. It's not in your face. Well, it's starting to be in your face now, but like it's not in your face. They have to have plausible deniability so they can say it's not because of race, it's because of this other thing, but it's really about race. You know what I'm saying?
You know, and the people saying that they don't agree with this, that shows how little they actually care about people, how little they actually care about the thing that they deserve. Like the natives, they got their reparations. The black people have never got their reparations.
Yeah, I mean, not even just the natives, the Japanese, that when they were in internment camps, they paid them reparations. This was in the they did this in the 80s after World War II. They paid the reparations in the goddamn 80s, bro. They're paying the Native Americans. They're paying Israel right now. They're giving billions of dollars to Israel right now. Like, come on, what are we even talking about? They only have this bug up their ass about paying people when it's black people. And I want people to say what the real shit is, because I know what it is, but they're finding all these other loopy ways to say, oh, well, is this? Oh, well, is that? Say what you really feel, bro. Just let that racism demon out, man. That's what I want. I don't want to hear people.
Exactly.
I don't want people to hide behind, oh, well, if you gave me the right idea, you gave me the right plan. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. I'm not going to sit here and try to give you a sales pitch on why we should do reparations and it's a good idea. If you can't agree with it principally, then tell me you don't agree with it principally and let me know what those principles are. And then we'll get into the real shit. But I've been here long enough. Shouts out to you. You a young dude. I don't even know if you're really 19 or not, but keep doing the research, keep learning, because it's way worse than a lot of these people make it out to be, for real. Like the like, I don't know if he was listening to old school earlier, but he was just telling one story. Like there's thousands and thousands and thousands of different stories. And it's as bad as we're making it. It's worse, actually. So
Yeah, I've
I
heard some
don't let these
horrific
people
things.
gaslight me into saying, well, that was just a long time ago. It was an ancient history. Get over it. I'm not letting them do that to me.
You see, these people in the comments, holy shit. Like, this is exactly the shit that we're talking about. Like, you're just fucking crazy to think.
Hold up. One last person. What's up, John? Please make it quick. I gotta go after this. What you got?
All right, so my argument is that you aren't responsible for your parents' debt, and on a greater society level, we should apply the same standard that you're not responsible.
Well, we're not charging you for what your parents did. We're charging the United States government. And we know it's going to come from taxes, but we pay everything else in taxes here too, and nobody complains about it. We paid the Japanese out of taxes. Did you intern those Japanese people, John?
No.
And the natives,
Oh,
the
but
natives, what about them?
yeah, did you wipe out the natives, John?
No. Well,
You're still paying for their reservations. You're still paying for their reservations. You're still paying for them. That's coming out of your taxes, John. So, like, I don't want to hear this. We shouldn't pay for what our parents did. Shit, like we're doing it. We just don't want to do it for black people for some reason. But I gotta get out of here. Y'all have a good day. I gotta go. Take it easy, everybody.